There is a big difference between a client that understands experimentation versus a client who is starting. And even the clients who are starting, I almost think of them as in two different camps. They're clients who are just starting in experimentation, and they either hire an agency, a CRO agency, or they bring in a resource. And at that point in time, they need to be able to hand over control to that person who's handling, or to that entity that's handling the conversion optimization. And that is not very easy. Our friend MJ Peters yesterday had a LinkedIn post where she mentions that back in 2017, she decided to change the homepage for the company that she's working with. She was talking to somebody, said, "Oh, I should have it live by the end of the week." It was Monday. And she said that the other person smirked because he's like, "You can't get this done by the end of the week." Well, she hired a designer. She did the copy. She got it up by the end of the week because no one was looking at the homepage. Now, she says nowadays she can't get away with that. Same thing if you are hiring a CRO, you got to trust them, correct? And hand control over, because they will push the limit. They're always experimenting. They're always changing. There are some companies and there are some executives who are able to say, "You know what? Great. Handle this. I don't have to think about it. I have about a million other things that I can focus on." Other companies that are just starting in CRO, they themselves and their teams struggle with handing over the control. As a result, conversion optimization and experimentation programs slow down tremendously. The goal is to increase conversion rates, but then you end up with trying to sort out the internal processes. And by the way, I do expect that with some organizations, especially with larger organizations, because it's a different way of doing business. What's important is to say, we are at point A, we want to get to point B. What adjustments do we need to make to get there? And that requires a shift in the mindset. Now, on the other hand, let's say companies that are familiar with experimentation, those also come in different flavors. There are companies who think they are familiar with experimentation, but all they've done is just hired freelancers here and there. CRO to them is more, well, yeah, we got to do it, but their fundamental understanding of experimentation is very, very limited. I was talking to a company that's been running experimentation for 2-3 years, which is quite a bit. I wanted to look at some of the experiments that they're running. Now, I understand when you're first starting out, you can start with simple experiments, but eventually your analysis needs to get a lot more sophisticated and your experimentation needs to get a lot more sophisticated, especially after 3 years of running a program. It's almost like they started in the experimentation yesterday. They're still running very superficial research and they are still running superficial testing and experimentation. That's one camp of companies that think that they know experimentation, but they really don't. And then you have another camp of companies, either they've been doing experimentation for a while or brought on the right resources. And those companies have the right mindset. Those companies usually push a conversion optimization agency to new heights, which I always, by the way, love. I always tell our clients that we'll always be learning from you. You will learn a lot from us, but we always will pick up some nuggets from you. That's always good because we're always trying to optimize and improve the process. We've always focused and we said that every company we work with needs to have the culture of experimentation. And sometimes some companies adapt that really well and sometimes they don't. And we've learned from some of our clients and we saw what they do to establish and enrich that culture of experimentation. This is just a fascinating journey.